Heh. So it seems Uehara and Shunsui have activated their Bankais, huh? That's pretty impressive. Okay then, I guess it's time for me to shine. 5th Squad Captain Shinji Hirako. I'm gonna activate my Bankai, Momo. Stand back. This is gonna be epic.
Okay, Captain. I'll stand back.
Wait a second. You don't really seem that, excited.
Oh, no, I am. Go ahead.
Hey, just a question. Would you be as impressed if I activated it as if Shunsui or Uehara activated it?
Well, I mean, Captain, come on. I mean, you're pretty cool and everything, and I'm sure a lot of people want to see your Bankai, but you're not even close to, like, Shunsui and Uehara level.
Oh, come on. I'm pretty popular.
I don't know. I think you're more like Sajin.
Sajin? Come on, I rank higher than Sajin. I'm at least, like, Ginichimaru level.
I don't know about that.
Oh my god. Okay, look. I am the only captain that's still in this fight that Kubo has not revealed his Bankai yet. I think I deserve this.
Well, I don't know. There's also Kenpachi.
Oh yeah, that's rich. Kenpachi Zaraki. He's gonna activate his Bankai, which he doesn't even have, before I get my Bankai revealed. Tell you what, Momo, if that happens, I'm gonna shave my head. God damn it, Kubo! Work it, yeah. Oh, hey everybody, Tekking101 here. Yeah, I'm doing some exercises. Gotta get the old blood flowing. This isn't like an average Bleach chapter, all right? We're talking Kenpachi Saraki Bankai level Bleach chapter. Gotta get the blood flowing. Gotta get it pumping. Gotta get it. Oh fuck. All right, I'm good. I just gotta kneel on this the entire review now. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review Bleach chapter number 669, titled Yaiba 2, or Blade 2. And there is some relevance to the title. Kubo did do this before when Kenpachi activated his Shikai. If you recall back in chapter 577, when he first released Nozarashi, he titled it a little bit differently than he usually does. He usually actually puts the titles in English, which is why sometimes you'll see like some grammar mistakes or something like that. It's because, Kubo is not a native English speaker, and yet he titles all his chapters in English. But this one, and there's a few exceptions to this too, like all the ones where Yamamoto was fighting against Yuha or Royd, those ones were in Japanese, and this one is in Japanese as well, just referring to Blade, as in Kenpachi's blade, of course. Now, a lot of people were thinking that, Kubo was going to do that thing that he loves to do, where he hypes up a battle really freaking intensely, and then, you get a big cliffhanger at the end of it, and then he's going to all right, now we're going to cut away to see what Soifon's doing, or Shinji, or, somebody else. Like, here's the Uryu versus Hashwolf fight, then we'll cut back to Kenpachi. If you've noticed, and I had a firm belief, a very firm belief, that Kenpachi was going to go Bankai this chapter. I had no idea that Kubo was going to skip away from the action, because if you've noticed, Kubo actually hasn't done that in a while. And I don't know if that's because he's just like, oh man, the series is coming to the end, I gotta get these fights out of the way, I gotta move on to the final battles, or if it's just like, you know what, I'm out of ideas, guys. It's just, alright, Shunsui goes Bankai, that fight's good. Uehara goes Bankai, that fight's good. Kenpachi goes Bankai, that fight's good. Alright, Uryu versus Hashwolf, Ichigo versus Yuha. Alright, series is over, where's my paycheck? But yeah, if you've noticed, he hasn't done that in a while. I mean, he did the thing with, Hashwolf fighting against Uryu, and he kind of cut away from that. It wasn't like, Uryu goes Let's Steal, and Hashwolf goes Voltstandig, and then they clash, and then they cut away, it wasn't that dramatic. For something this big, and such build-up we've had to this, even though a lot of people like myself did not feel like Kenpachi was going to get a Bankai, we all understood what that meant, what would happen when he gets a Bankai, and what would need to be seen. I don't think Kubo would have cock-teased us that much. With that being said, the exact reason behind him being able to use Bankai and the whole explanation for Yachiru, that might take a while. But for right now, let's get into the meat of things. You might be thinking I've been kind of taking a while to get into the actual review, but this chapter doesn't really have a lot in terms of exposition or dialogue. Once again, Kenpachi, Zaraki, Bankai. Can you guess? I mean, if you're any kind of Bleach fan worth their salt, can you guess what this chapter is? What 18 pages of this is going to amount to? Can you guess? Okay? Alright, let's go. Alright, so we pick up right where we left off. We have Yachiru standing next to Kenpachi, just kind of reiterating the same stuff she said last chapter. You know, oh, you can be an adorable dolt sometimes. She gave him the power. I don't know if it's him that actively, consciously activates his Bankai, or if it's Yachiru that just, like, does it for him. Because all Yachiru did, I mean, Kenpachi didn't really do anything. Yachiru just kind of grabbed his hand, gave him, like, some spirit energy or something like that. Some glowing aura was coming off of his hand. He's just staring at it like, okay, I don't know what this is. And then Yachiru says, you know, it's Bankai. And then right away we have big ass fucking explosion. You know, so I guess, you know, Yachiru's just like, okay, this is your first time, Kenny. You've never really done this before, so I'll take the lead. You know, let's go Bankai. Yeah, we get the title page and then huge explosion wrecks all the freaking Varvel, just like, you know, every other explosion that's happened every time somebody goes Bankai or into their Volt standing. You know, 90% of the damage that's been done to this place hasn't even been done by attacks. I mean, yeah, probably the one that did the most heavy damage to this place, aside from Gerard, is probably Lilia, because Lilia had all those god light attacks, you know, like the heavenly trumpet that, like, blew away half of the freaking, you know, section they were standing on. But most of the damage to the Varvel just comes from these massive explosions that happen every time someone just blows their load and unleashes full release. Alright, well, anyway, Toshiro and Byakuya, they're freaking out, they're getting blasted away. Gerard notices something's up, so he turns and he's like, oh, what the hell's up with this? And then we get the crater, we get the appearance, we see Kenpachi Zaraki. Zaraki in Bankai mode. Ah, yeah. There's going to be a lot of blood coming up. There is going to be religious Old Testament amounts of blood pouring from the sky after we're done with this. So, Kenpachi's Bankai. Really nothing that big changes. I mean, yeah, there are some kind of alterations to his body, but I can sum it up in, like, 3 sentences, you know? Kenpachi Zaraki's skin turns red, he gets, like, tribal tattoo markings all over his body, and Nozarashi itself shrinks down to a size of a more... It's more about the appropriate size of a meat cleaver. It's still really fucking big, but it's roughly the size of, like, Ichigo's Shikai at the beginning of the series. The only thing that really changes about Nozarashi itself, other than the size, is that the top part got ripped off. You know how, I mean, the blade was already kind of like rugged, but the very top you had like the you had the piece of metal that enclosed it. I don't know what it's called on a sword exactly. And then you had like the tassel that was coming off it. Yeah, that got ripped off. So now it's just the handle wrapped in cloth and just the blade itself looking at like a jagged finish. Somebody likened it to be like, it's like Ichigo's original Shikai if it just had the top ripped off. It's still pretty big. It's still roughly like half the size of Kenpachi's Bankai. I mean, I have Bankai on the brain. You know, no, Kubo has Bankai on the brain because he's done like 3 consecutive big-ass huge reveals of Bankai in the past like 20 chapters alone. So, yeah, but it's roughly that equivalent. Now, on top of having the red skin, I don't know if this is because he released his Bankai, but you see Kenpachi, you know, and you don't see his face here, but you see blood oozing from him. I'm not sure if this is still the blood that he took from whenever he damaged Gerard's Hope Blade. You know, remember whenever time you damage the Hope Blade, you get cut up. I don't know if that's from the release of the Bankai, or the fact that he's still bleeding from that. Either way, he doesn't seem to care very much. Ikaku and Yumachika are looking at him. They're completely dumbstruck. They don't know what even to make of this. You know, Yumachika notices that the captain's skin has turned red. Gerard just kind of pulls his attention towards Zaraki. You know, because remember last chapter he was kind of preoccupied with Toshiro and Byakuya. He kind of got, you know, distracted, and he's fighting them. Next thing he knows, fucking Mount Olympus is erupting behind him. Is Mount Olympus a volcano? I think it is. I don't know. He's staring down Kenpachi's new form, though, and he's not very impressed. He notices that his Reiatsu has kind of had a little bit of a spike, but all in all, he just judges him by appearance. And that has never happened negatively in Bleach, somebody judging somebody else's power by appearance. Like, remember that time Byakuya saw Ichigo's Bankai for the first time, and he was making fun about how small his sword was? Yeah, that didn't come back to bite him in the ass at all. No way. But as far as Bankais go, this transformation of yours is minimal at best. Is that what you had up your sleeve? I am severely disappointed. Ha! As you are now, the grace of my is too good for you, Kenpachi Zaraki, so I'm just gonna punch you. That should be equivalent. Yeah, so Gerard decides just to forego his Hope Blade altogether and just, straight up attack Kenpachi with a good old-fashioned punch. And keep in mind, though, this guy's punch, I mean, his fist has to be the size of a goddamn, meteorite at this point. Like, it's coming toward him, it's like breaking the sound barrier. I only know of one man that has a mightier punch than that. I think we all know who we're thinking of right now, yeah. Alright, that's a clever move. What's Kenpachi's rebuttal? That's a very profound and witty comeback there, Zaraki. I can't think of a single person that could have put it better. Alright then, fuck this motherfucker up! The next page, all we see is Kenpachi sinking his teeth into Gerard's flesh as Gerard is cringing, and then in the next page, fucking arm is just ripped right out of his freaking joint. Oh man, that's gotta hurt. Now at first, when I saw this, I didn't really know what to make of it, because we saw Kenpachi bite into something, and then his arm is just gone. Now, at first when I saw it, you can see there's a couple things right next to Gerard, right above his head, which I'm assuming are pieces of his flesh and his bone and his muscles that just got, I mean, his fucking, it just got severed right at the elbow. Elbows are here, Matt. Severed right at the shoulder. And I'm seeing these little pieces, and I thought at first, did Kenpachi, jump up into the sky, grab into his shoulder, and just rip it off that way? But then I looked down, and I noticed, no, Kenpachi's still on the ground. Do you know what this guy did? He bit... Okay, so Gerard's coming at him with a fist, and keep in mind, this is like a full-force punch. This isn't he's casually just doing a bro tap. This is whoosh! Kenpachi bites into it right here at, the freaking finger and just rips the damn thing off! And this guy's the size of a skyscraper, and this is the enhanced arm. The arm he got ripped off by Kenpachi before, and he repaired it, and it's got the brass knuckles and the lines on it. And he ripped that off. Man, that makes my neck hurt. That's not even physically possible. I mean, seriously. I mean, just regardless of how strong he is. I mean, think about that. There's no way. But I know manga physics are your bad. Maybe he just has god level neck strength, and he just sure. That hurts just thinking about it. Alright, so Gerard's reaction to having his entire arm bit off, I think we can understand what that's going to be. It's going to be massive amounts of pain. His arm lands on the other side of the water valve, of course, big explosion just because how big that thing was. And now he's a little bit pissed off, because that was his right arm, and his nightly ritual was ruined now. But he's like, oh no, you fool, you can't hurt me. Remember, all the damage I take, I'll just restore it. So sure enough, his arm begins to repair itself, but not before Kenpachi just leaps off the freaking ground right in the middle of the sky, and that's where we can see kind of the size comparison between Nozarashi and him. And he just goes right to slice him in half once more, and it goes, Gerard raises up his shield, tries to block it. It cuts right through the freaking shield, cuts right through his other freaking arm, and slices his head. Not all the way through, but it makes a big damn gash right in the middle of his forehead, and Kenpachi's standing there just looking demonic. It looks like he has some horns on his head. Now, it's important to note here that Kenpachi, as you could probably have figured, he's in total guts berserk mode. He is consciousness has left him, speech has left him. He is just a mindless beast. And the reason this is relevant is because this is the first time we've ever seen a Bankai operate this way. Alright, a little bit of a Bankai 101 with Tekking 101 here. Alright, so a Bankai in just essence, and just if I was going to give a one-sentence explanation for what a Bankai is, it is unlocking the true potential that was, you know, first revealed in Shikai. It's basically taking your Shikai and bringing it to a whole other level, or like the final level of a Zanpakuto. Now, there's different varieties to how a Bankai operates. There are some Bankai, for instance, which create a power that you are clad in, like you wear your power. Like we have Toshiro with his Ice Dragon, Yamamoto, when he activated his Zanko no Tachi West, he was wearing his fire. Even Ichigo fits in this category. He wears the cloak. Like that cloak that Ichigo wears when he's in his Bankai, that is part of his Bankai. Then you have other Bankais which just, you know, summon some sort of creature, like Komamoras and Mayoris and Uraharas. You know, they create some sort of creature behind them that has, like, organic properties. Then you have the type of Bankai that just creates some sort of effect or object, like Tozen's and Makorogi. It creates the giant dome, and then the effect is inside the dome. Shunsui's Karamatsu Shinju fits into this too. It changes the entire area around to fit to the effects of his dons, you know, so it's like creating some sort of effect. But never once have we seen a Bankai that activates and completely alters the user's personality, or, you know, not even like changes their bodies physically. Like, yeah, Toshiro wears the ice, Yamamoto wears the fire, but their physical bodies, their skin, and that hasn't changed. Kenpachi's body is literally being altered to look kind of like a devil, or like a Kishin or something. That's what Kubo's going for, obviously. I mean, we all figured Kenpachi was kind of like Oni and Ogre and Kishin-like already, but he's making it, you know, the appearance coming out on the outside. So I just want you to understand how weird this is. You know, this is the enigma here. You know, and other than that, I mean, the sword itself just kind of shrinks down. That doesn't really change very much, so that's not really something you got to worry about. But it's the mental, the psychological, and the physical alterations to this guy's Bankai, which is really interesting to me. Alright, so with that being said, after, you know, Kenpachi just rips off both his arms and slices his head, he then proceeds to do an epic freaking uppercut on him. That knocks him back, and he's getting sent flying, and he, just as I figured, he just falls off the side of the Varvelt, and just begins to fall, and Toshiro's like, oh shit! It's gonna be like a freaking atom bomb times 30! Alright, Soul Society's fucked, man, it's over. I guess we're living in Quincy City forever. I'll go try to set up a slushy stand over there. Byakuya, you can try to maybe do some cherry blossom arrangements. We'll make it look a little bit like home, but I guess we're done, guys. Or not, because at this point we then remember that, right, Gerard can fly. Yeah, I wouldn't say this is activating his Volt Standing either. Remember back when Yuha activated his Swall in his Holy Selection, he gave extra power to his Schutzstaffen, and it manifested in the forms of, like, the feathery wings. It's very important to notice these are different from Volt Standing wings, because we had Askin, he had the fluffy wings too when, you know, Yuha performed the Holy Selection, but then later on when he activated his Volt Standing, they were different wings altogether, so they're not the same thing. These are just, like, representing his full power as, like, one of Yuha's Schutzstaffen, his, like, elite guard. But yeah, point is, he can fly. Oh, like a Valkyrie. Okay, I get it. The reference is now complete, except for the fact that Valkyries were women and not dudes, but, you know, whichever, however. It still looks pretty badass. So, Gerard manages to compose himself while he's in the air. I guess as composing as he could be. He's still pretty pissed off. Impossible! Ludicrous! Inconceivable! For a mere Shinigami to corner me like this, even in my worst nightmare, such an absurd farce could never happen! So he reforms his completely right arm. His left arm is still yet to reform yet. I don't know if that's going to be relevant. I don't know if he's pulling all of his energy into his right arm, but his energy begins to collect around his sword. It looks like he's just, you know, like charging straight at Kenpachi, just wanting to run him right through with his sword like a freaking, just like a missile or something. Kenpachi just kind of walks over to the edge of the Varvelt, and he's like, you know, pulling Nozarashi behind him, and he's like, and he just looks down at him, and Gerard's like, oh, you know, you're not fleeing. Oh, well, that's good of you, but you're dead now. Turn to ash and be gone. And then, last scene of the chapter, Kenpachi just strikes the fighting stance, and then we just see this awesome final page spread where Kenpachi's like just twisting and contorting his body, pulling down a slash to end all slashes, and Gerard just gets split right in half. Alright, that's the end. As I said, really not a lot to this. This is a total just, full-out battle heavy metal chapter. That's all it is. Some people were bitching about it, like, oh, this is all that Kenpachi turned into was a berserker, and he goes nuts. Okay, look. I don't know if you got... By the way, Gerard's not dead. I highly doubt he's dead. I mean, we saw all the crap that happened with Lilia. I highly doubt Gerard's dead, but, that's just my opinion on that. I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that want Kenpachi to be like this really elaborate, like multifaceted character that goes through a lot of change throughout the series. I mean, he does go through change, but Kenpachi's character is really not that complex. You know how I always give like the kind of like brutish voice to Kenpachi? I'm like, oh yeah, I like to bleed, yeah. People have been saying like, man, quit making Kenpachi out to be kind of like an airhead or like a Neanderthal. There's more to him than that. Look, I'm not going to deny there's been moments that have had serious character development for Kenpachi and gave us like introspection to his character. Probably the most notable was when he fought against Yachiru. All right, but you have to keep in mind, Yachiru... both Yachiros. We're talking about Unohana and Yachiru as in the pink-haired girl that may or, that may or may not be also named Nozarashi. I don't know. Like, once again, we might find out about that at the end of the battle. We might not. I don't know. But those are the only things that really mattered to him other than fighting. He didn't give a shit about, like, protecting the Seirete or, holding up to the duties of the Gote 13 or, he didn't have, like, I really value my men and I want to train them to get stronger. He didn't care about any of that shit. He cared about exactly 3 things. Unohana, who he probably wanted to fuck, Yachiru, who was his companion his entire life, and third, fighting and battle. That's his character right there. I mean, there's a few moments that go a little bit more, like he thinks a little bit more, but he's not the guy that's serious and analytical. The most analytical he's ever gotten is when he fought against Tozen. He fought against Tozen, and Tozen had that really annoying Bankai, and he'd be like, oh man, I actually have to think now. And he verbally made it clear, like, I don't like to think in battle. I don't like to fight guys like that. It's boring, it's not fun, I don't like to do it. And he tried to think, and he didn't really come up with much of a strategy. That scene was actually pretty funny, because he was like, what would Ikaku do? And he's like, I don't know. What would Yumachika do? And like, I'd run away. And what would Yachiru do? And he'd be like, oh, I'd try to hit him. It's not like he thinks very much. It isn't. The one moment for me, though, that really stood out, that kind of like seed a little bit more deeper into his character beyond than just like the battle. And Mayuri said it best. He compares to Kenpachi to just being a barbarian. That's what he is. He's a barbarian. But there was one moment that stuck out for me. He's in the middle of his fight with Noitra, and he's having a blast. He's getting cut up from every angle, but that's how he likes it. He just keeps slashing in Noitora. He's having fun. He's big shit-eating grin on his face. And then after Noitora like launches his like 16th volley against him, where he just jams all his scythe blades into Kenpachi's like in this moment of ecstasy. But then he just kind of stops for a moment, and he's just like, damn, I might actually die here, yeah. So I like that one moment. That one moment stayed a little bit more deeper. Like, he's not a complete idiot, but he's a barbarian. He is. He thinks with his sword first. That's what he does. Also, it would be interesting to note there, since I brought up that moment where he was like, oh man, I'm about to die, better use 2 hands. Two-handed Bankai! If this move is not the thing that finishes off Gerard, that better be it. That better be the nail on the coffin right there. Two-handed Bankai, and just everything within a 5-kilometer radius with directly in line of Kenpachi's sword just gets fucking atomized. Alright. Well, I liked his Bankai mostly because, like I said, the way his nature is, I wasn't expecting anything complicated here. I was not expecting his Bankai to have like some sort of intricate ability or have anything to deal with Kido or some special effect over a different area. His thing is he cuts shit up. Alright, now look, I know a lot of people don't like that kind of character because it's extremely one-dimensional, and it is. It very much is. Like I said, Kenpachi's a very one-dimensional character. There's a few moments where it's a little bit more elaborated upon. Probably the most moment we've got is when he fought against Yachiru, and he was like crying, and he was remembering his past, and he's like, you know, please don't die, please don't die. That was the most we got. That's probably the most we're gonna get. Maybe we might have a moment with Yachiru, you know, being all sad, maybe because, you know, she has to leave now and be, you know, because, you know, it's her soul, but I'll be with you always. That might be an emotional moment, but, you know, 90% of the time, he's a very one-dimensional character. Can we just admit this? Because that's the case. All right, and I didn't expect anything more than this, more or less than this. I'm content with Kenpachi being Berserk mode. I think, personally, if you were expecting anything really grandiose or more elaborate than this, I mean, come on, guys. Like, how many other Bankais have we gotten? We had Shunsui's Bankai, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but it was kind of cool to see. We had Uruha's Bankai, who I was really a big fan of. So, if you weren't a fan of this Bankai, you had to be at least a fan of one of the other two. And we still have Ichigo's. Okay, we still have Ichigo's. Maybe Shinji's. And that's coming up. So, I mean, yeah, there you go. But, yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Pretty much just a fight scene. That's all I have to say, really. I like the Bankai design. I'm interested to know how it works. I'm interested to know about what Yachiru is going to do. Because Kenpachi doesn't speak at all. So, of course, we don't know the name of his Zanpakuto or his Bankai. We don't know the name of any techniques or anything like that. Which is how it should be. You know, Kenpachi's not the kind of guy that names his techniques. He just, you know, cuts things. You know, that's all he does. All right, well, hope you guys enjoyed the chapter. Tekking101. Signing out. Yeah. See you next time. Yeah. God, I gotta go, punch something. I don't know.